Just early in the morning, Detective Luke gets a phone call from his son, who complains that he is having the usual stomach pains again, and asks if he could have the day off from school. Luke sighs in frustration and goes back inside his car. He tells his fellow officer about it, and they laugh about it. Detective Luke knows it's an excuse from his son not to go to school. Immediately, they get a call from the headquarters that instructs them to roll out. The SWAT team, heavily armed with weapons, bust inside the house of a man called Eddie, and threatens everyone to get down on their feet. Eddie is confused because he knows he didn't commit any crime, but he becomes more confused when the SWAT team enters his son's room and announce they have found their suspect. They point their gun on the 13-year-old boy, who's called Jamie. While his parents cries out desperately asking what's wrong, it was then Detective Luke shows up with a warrant. He enters Jamie's room and tells him that he is going to be arrested on suspicion of murder. His parents protest against this. They are ready to fight for their son's innocence, but the detective threatens to arrest them for obstruction. Jamie calls his dad from his room in fear, saying he didn't do anything, but his dad advises he should comply with the police. Detective Luke tells him to get up slowly. Luke asks if he has anything in his pocket that may harm them, or him. Just as they found nothing on him, they tell him to change his trousers as he has already peed on his pants. After that, the cop sets off to leave with the little boy to the station. We see his elder sister on the floor crying and scared. The whole household is in panic. The dad wants to follow the police, but they order him to stay put until they reach the station. Some detectives are seen searching the boy's room for evidence. Eddie is frustrated seeing a huge number of police just searching his house without giving him a word on what they are looking for. The mom tries to fight the police. The parents are so sure about their son's innocence, and they wonder why they would need guns to arrest their son. He is 13 years old, for crying out loud. Jamie is inside the cop's car so scared. Eddie tells him they will come to the station as soon as they leave, and advises him not to say anything to the police. Just as the cops take off with Jamie, he suddenly begins to cry in panic. Detective Luke tells him to calm down, but Jamie cries the more, saying he wants his dad here with him. Just when they got Jamie to the station, Detective Luke handed him to a sergeant who begins to ask Jamie for information about himself. He wants to know if Jamie has been told about his rights. He doesn't need to speak. Anything he says may be given as evidence. Jamie is asked if he will be wanting a solicitor. When he says yes, they asks him if he has a solicitor or does he want the station to provide one. The sergeant tells him that since he's a kid, he will need to be supported by an appropriate adult. They asked if he will like that to be his parents, or someone from the station. Jamie replied that he wants his dad. They started asking more questions to Jamie, like if he is healthy, and not currently taking any medication? Or if he ever tried to take his own life or self-harmed? Jamie replied no to all the questions. Just as they were about to take Jamie to a cell to be questioned of the crime he is suspected of, his family member shows up at the police station. Jamie is locked in a dry cell, no toilet or bathroom there. Detective Luke goes to meet Jamie's parents waiting at the family room to ask them few questions. He asked them if they have a solicitor. When they said no, he suggests that they have competent solicitors that can help them for free. He asked Jamie's mom if she's okay. She pours out her anger on him. Like, how can he behave like that and come here to behave all caring? His men threw her on the floor, and threw her daughter on the floor. The last question is, he asked Jamie's dad Eddie if he will be Jamie's appropriate adult. That means, he will be present at Jamie's interviews, and any blood taken by the nurse. He also tells Eddie that if his son has admitted to him anything regarding this case or any of the events leading up to this case, he should tell them. Eddie asks his wife why don't they let everyone know what is happening? They don't even got a clue themselves. They tell their daughter to go home, but she refuses. She wants to stay and know what will happen to her only brother. A nurse is suddenly called from the hospital to interview Jamie with Eddie at his side. The nurse asks if he knows what getting arrested means, or why he needs a lawyer. Jamie answers all the questions smartly, and she smiles and leaves. His dad is so worried because Jamie has refused to eat. The poor boy is just really worried. He cries to his dad saying he hasn't done anything and he wants to go home, but his dad only just stares at him in worry. After a little while, his dad is told to leave the cell for the family room. The nurse that interviewed Jamie goes to give her reports about Jamie. She tells the sergeant that Jamie is a bright boy, and he has no relevant medical history. Just as she tells the cop that she hates children cases, a man in a suit meets the sergeant. He introduced himself as a lawyer for Jamie. They asked him to go see his parents in the family room first, before seeing Jamie in his cell. The lawyer name is Paul. After he greeted Jamie's parents, he explains to them how things like this works. He will be firstly briefed by the arresting officers as to the particulars of the case, and will also catch up with what's been going on since Jamie's arrest. Paul asks the parents if they have any complaints as to their treatment so far. Jamie's mom answers that the police tore their house apart, and they had gun and everything. They even smashed their door in. The lawyer assures that he will do his best concerning the case. He tells them to hang tight while he goes to get himself briefed by the arresting officers. Paul goes to the room for the briefing. Detective Luke and his partner shows up to let him know everything about the murder. The incident happened at 10:30 last night. While the detectives answers questions, a sergeant calls Jamie's dad. They need him at the medical suite just while his son has some samples taken. Jamie is placed on the chair, and after they took numerous photos of him, they have him do some thumbprints. After that, they tell Jamie that they are going to need his passcode so they can access his phone, but his lawyer shows up and tells Jamie not to. Even the dad is in support. The nurse shows up and asks him to lie on the bed for some blood test. Jamie tells the nurse he is afraid of needles. The lawyer warns Jamie that if he refuses, it may harm his defense. Jamie decided to allow them to do the test. The nurse took out the blood for the test, which was a really painful process for Jamie. But the demands keeps on coming more and more. A cop asks Jamie to remove the clothes he's wearing so they can conduct a strip search. They explain that there is a chance that he may have concealed things on or around his body. His dad tells the cops that there isn't need for that, because Jamie had changed his clothes after wetting himself earlier this morning. They reply that they understand, but this is serious offense. They need to be sure there are no cuts or bruises on his body. Eddie asks the cops how they would feel if they were 13, and had two men looking at his bits, but they reply that they weren't accused of a crime. Damn. These cops are just really harsh with that line. Eddie angrily argues with the cops. None of these should be done on a 13 years old, but Jamie cuts his dad, saying he doesn't mind. He will strip himself naked just as the cops asked. After they striped him naked and started to look around his body, by the looks of his father's face, he is just trying so hard to hold himself back. It was not easy for this man to watch the cops looking at his son's private areas. After that, the lawyer asks the cops to give him a room, so he can speak with Jamie alone. He asks Jamie what's his school favorite subject. When he finds out it's history, he asks him his favorite bit of history. Jamie replies that it's Industrial Revolution. He likes a man called Brunel, because he did stuffs no one else did, like boats, trains, and so on. The lawyer suddenly advises Jamie to answer no comment to whatever the police asks him regarding to last night. He should be able to decipher between questions he should answer and should not. Eddie tells the lawyer to try his best. He is so confident his son didn't commit the murder. He is a good kid, and he is a good dad. The lawyer replies that he thinks the police had some pretty compelling evidence, otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to ask for the blood test, or to make the entrance that they did at his house. He doesn't know what the evidence is, but it's going to be clear to them soon, and advises Eddie to raise his chin up, be a good dad, and suck it up. A little moment he had with his son alone, Eddie calmly tells his son to be honest with the answer to his question. He asks Jamie if he really committed the murder. Jamie tells him he didn't do it. We see a relief in Eddie's body. Since his son is innocent, everything is going to be alright. Jamie along with his dad are interviewed by Detective Luke and his partner. They ask Jamie what he did last night, but Jamie tells them no comment just as the lawyer advised him to do. They ask Jamie about his sexual relationship. They discover that Jamie reposted a picture about a model, and his comments about her were pretty aggressive. They also find out that Jamie has two close friends called Tommy and Ryan. They ask if Jamie knows a girl called Kate Leonard, and show him a photo of her. Jamie knows her because they are classmates. Jamie asks the cops if it was the girl that was killed. The cops aggressively replies why he would ask that question, as if he doesn't know. We find out that Jamie just knows the girl, but they don't have any form of relationship and he is not even attracted to her. They then finally asked if he killed her. They brought CCTV images of him and Katie from last night, and it appears to them in the photo that he was following her. He tells them he wasn't following her. The detective then decided to show them a video footage. In the footage, we see Jamie and Katie having an argument. Katie pushed him to the floor, and he angrily attacks her and stabbed her to death. Jamie watches this and cries. Luke asks him why he will do something like that. He also asks if he would like to say sorry to Katie's mom, whom he had to talk to while she was sobbing on the floor because her daughter is gone, but Jamie says nothing but just keeps crying. Just as he doesn't answer them, the detectives decided to terminate the interview. His dad cries really hard. He hugs Jamie and asked him why he did it, but Jamie answers that it wasn't him. He hasn't done anything. And that was how the episode ended. If you want to see the next episode, please let me know in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.